Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. So in this tutorial we're going to discuss how we can use the chain rule to differentiate the functions on the screen. Okay, so if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, click on the subscription button and also make sure that you click on the notification button so that you don't miss out all the videos that I'm going to be posting. And if you have any questions or you would want to join my tuitions, the tuitions that I offer, you can contact me using any of these lines on the screen. Okay, so this is the question which says use the chain rule to differentiate the following functions. So how do you use the chain rule? So the chain rule first of all states that if you have any function, or one thing you have to understand is that the chain rule is used to differentiate functions that are known as composite functions. Yeah. So composite functions are simply just functions in other functions. For instance, if you have a function that is composed of two functions, like you have, let me say, f of x is equal to g of h of x. Yeah, so you have this kind of a function, or let me just give an example. You have maybe x plus 2 to the power, okay, let me just get this same question. Okay, so you have f of x is equal to 3 minus 8x to the power 11. So the first function that we have in this expression, we're going to say let u be equal to, so the first function that we have is 3 minus 8x. And then the second function that we have in this expression is simply just f of x. So f of x is therefore equal to u to the power what? 11. So the first function is this one, the second function is this. So let me just write it this side. Okay, let me just say the second function is y. So y is equal to, I'll call it y so that it's easier for us to differentiate it. So y is equal to u, this same expression here is the one that we're calling u, and then to the power 11. So the chain rule states that f prime of x, which is the derivative of x, is simply just equal to dy du times du dx. So what this means is that I'm going to differentiate this function there to find what? Du dx. So du dx is simply just the derivative of this constant there is 0. Then the derivative of negative 8x is simply just negative 8. So you can just write it like that. So we also differentiate this one here to find dy du. So dy du is simply just 11 times 1, that will give us 11. Then you have u, 11 minus 1, that will give us what? 10. This is what you have. So f prime of x is therefore going to be equal to dy du. Dy du is exactly what we have there, which is 11u to the power 10. And then we're multiplying this with du dx. Du dx is negative 8. So our f prime of x is therefore equal to 11. While there is u, we're going to replace back that. So we have 3 minus 8x. Then we're multiplying this with negative, sorry, this one is raised to the power 10. We're multiplying it with negative 8. Okay. We move on. Okay. Yeah, so let me just simplify this. So negative 8 times 11, we're getting negative 8, open brackets. We have 3 minus 8x to the power 10 rather. This one is supposed to be 10. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So this is how you use the chain rule. So the next question is g of x being equal to the square root of x to the power 3 plus 8x squared. So this can also be written as x to the power 3 plus 8x squared in brackets and then to the power half. So any number raised to the power, any square root, the square root of any number is just the same as that number raised to the power half. So this is what we have. So the first function that we have in this composite function is x to the power 3 plus 8x to the power 2. And then the second function that we have in this expression is y, which is equal to u, this same u, raised to the power what? The power half. So the first thing that we need to do is to find du dx. So du dx is therefore going to be, using the power rule, we're going to have 3 times 1, that will be 3x to the power 3 minus 1, that will be 2. Then we have plus 8 times 2, the answer is 16x, 2 minus 1, that's 1. So we can raise that x to the power 1, which is just the same as writing x alone. Then we also have dy du. So dy du is therefore going to be half times u, this will be 1 over 2u, and then half minus 1, this will give us what? Negative. This will give us negative half. Okay. Negative half. Yeah, so we apply the chain rule. So the chain rule states that g prime of x is going to be equal to du dx times dy du. Yes, so so this is how we're going to write it. So remember this, you're supposed to write let this be equal to that, so that you show the marker to say these are not, this is not the original notation of this function. The original notation is g of x. Yeah, so here if you want you can put g of x, but for proper understanding of the people that I'm teaching, I always put y there. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's quickly move on. So this is what you can do. Or maybe we say at the beginning of this question, you say, if you want to make your work easy, you say let y be equal to the root of x cubed plus 8x squared. Yeah, even this one is okay. Still get the same answer. Alright, so we just put in the things that were found there. So du dx is 3x squared plus 16x in brackets, and then we have dy du. Dy du is simply just 1 over 2. Then u is given, so u is, this is what we equated to u, so we put it there. So we have x to the power 3 plus 8x squared. And we're raising this to the power negative half. Okay, so when anything has been raised to the power half, it means that it's just the square root of that thing. And then if it's negative, it means that it's going to go down as the denominator. So this is what we're going to do to simplify this expression. Okay, so we're going to do this. So our g prime of x is therefore going to be equal to this, we'll write it on top as the numerator, plus 16x, then everything divided by, yeah, so this is half times that, it's just the same as writing 2 there. And since it's raised to the power half, we write the square root of x squared plus 8x squared, or 8 cubed, sorry. This is the solution for this expression. Alright, so let's quickly move on to the next question, which is the last question on this part. So h of x is equal to 2 over 6 minus 5x to the power what? 8. So like I said, you first say let y be equal to what? 2 over 6 minus 5x raised to the power 8. So that we can have our u being equal to okay, so let me just write y here in another form, which is 2 open brackets, we have 6 minus 5x raised to the power negative 8, because it has gone up. Okay, so we have u being equal to 6 minus 5x, that is our u, meaning our y will therefore be written as 2u raised to the power negative 8. So now we can find our du dx. Du dx is therefore going to be negative 5, because this one is a constant, and it will give us 0 when we differentiate that with respect to x. When you differentiate negative 5x with respect to x, you are going to get negative 5. And then differentiate this one with respect to u. This one is going to be dy, du. This one is going to be equal to, so negative 8 times 2, we're going to get negative 16. So we have negative 16 u. Why there is u there? So negative 16, and then we have u, negative 8, minus 1 there. That will give us what? When you say minus 1, that will give us negative 9. Okay, so here's just a matter of replacing this in the formula. So our h prime of x will therefore be equal to dy you can either start with dy du or du dx. Multiplication is commutative, you can start with anything. So we say du dx times dy du. So this and that should be in a diagonal, so that if you multiply them, this can cancel and just remain with dy dx. Yeah, so that's the easiest way of mastering that. So we have du dx. So du dx is going to be put, where's du dx? Du dx is negative 5. So we put negative 5 there. We're multiplying it with dy du. So dy du is this expression, which is negative 16 u to the power 9. U to the power negative 9. So we can simplify this by replacing back the value of, the expression for u there. So negative 5 times negative 16, that will give us what? Positive 80. Then the value of u, according to what we said, is 6 minus 5x. So we say 6 minus 5x raised to the power negative 9. So this h prime of x can therefore be written as 80, open brackets, okay? Since there's a negative there on the power, it means that it can be a denominator. So we say over 6 minus 5x raised to the power what? 9. So this is the solution for that last part. Alright, thank you very much for watching today's tutorial. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on any of these lines, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also click on the notification button. And the other thing you have to understand is that I also offer online lessons, live tutorial sessions. So you can contact me using these lines on the screen, so that if you want to join, or if you want to be added to the group. Okay, see you in the next tutorial video. My name is Untitled. Shalom.